I see diving as not only a wonderful physical activity, but also a very mentally stimulating activity and spiritually enlightening activity.
I mean, it's something people have to experience, you know. If they get one trip, whether it's Palau or anywhere else, you know, just to get out of the cities.
My decision to become a diver was a very personal one. Diving is not only mentally and physically stimulating and satisfying, but it is so emotionally and spiritually fulfilling too. It is an extraordinary privilege to be alive on this beautiful planet.
I could dive every day for the rest of my life and never get sick of it, never get bored, always miss the water the second I'm out. Diving is just the ultimate sport for personal pleasure, for satisfaction. I just think that there's nothing else that I can think that you can do recreationally that is just so fulfilling.
What I didn't realise when I decided to become a diver was how much it really would change my life. It's not just about exploring underwater, it's about the people you meet, the lifetime friendships you foster, the amazing places you experience, and the peace and self-confidence you gain every time you become part of the underwater world.
What a way to end a dive, when we hooked in on a rock.
It was like flying at the end of a kite string. The slight ebb and flow of the current had us all moving in unison. Wow.
It was such an intense and exhilarating experience. We all came up from this dive laughing at the surface and yelling like we'd won the lottery.
The wrecks here are really similar to dives I've done in local waters. Even some of the inland wrecks, like in Lake Mead, Nevada, have similar topographical features.
Wreck diving is probably one of my favorite things to do. I had the opportunity to help train up my buddy, have her do her first wreck diving experience, which was credited towards her advanced open water certification. We had about, 5-6 different wrecks. We've had a plane, which was my first time diving on a plane. And we had the 400-foot wrecks, the huge destruction in the middle of it. And we had some fishing vessels. For something to be part of, say, World War II, something to have that kind of history to it. There's a sense of when you cruise in, that eeriness of, how this plane got here.
That's what makes wreck diving so fascinating, because there's a real sense of story in it.
You're seeing nature, and then all of a sudden clash with man. It's pretty awesome just leaving wrecks in there, so now all the little critters live in it. And, it's coming some good now.
The cool thing about the diving lifestyle, what makes it so appealing to so many people, is that it's more than just spending time underwater. Our surface intervals were spent cruising through the islands. Charles and I would chill and chat about upcoming dives.
Palau's really earned its reputation as one of the top places in the world to go diving because of the variety of diving locations to go, the dive sites, but also the amazing boat rides you do as you go to each site through the rock islands. I think when you're diving, you know, it's obviously not only about what you're seeing under the water, but what you're experiencing on the boat when you're sort of cruising the area. Danny, our boat captain from Nico Marine, is just a generous boat captain, and he takes us on these really great cruises through the rock islands to just see some of the most amazing island formations, and and give us background on why the islands are shaped in that mushroom shape. You know, it's tidal erosion, it's grazing sea creatures. Whether you're out in open ocean and you catch a glimpse of a breaching whale, or you're going through beautiful island formations like the rock islands in Palau, there's just no end to the magic and the fascination and the adventure and the fun.
All of Palau, everywhere you walk, whether it's the store, whether it's Nico, everybody smiles, everybody says hi, driving by saying hi. Everybody's just friendly.
There's this incredible emphasis on community and clan here, which is very inspiring coming from a Western society where the last thing we think about is our family ties and and the privilege of having family ties. And here it's such a celebrated part of life.
Going on this trip was an amazing experience, but the majority of my diving, when I teach and when I do my pleasure dives, is right in my backyard, the coast of California.
When I started diving, I thought that all the best dives would be in tropical water, but I've learnt that's not the case. No matter where you live, there's great diving.
I was privileged growing up in Australia. I got to learn to dive in some of the loveliest ocean in the world. But what really stunned me on moving to Southern California was how beautiful the diving is here.
Actually, my favorite diving is kelp diving.
I tell my open water and advanced open water students that when they take their DPV specialty course, it's like flying through a forest.
I'm blessed right here off California that Casino Point alone in Catalina is just one of the most heavily dove places. And all I got to do is catch a little boat ride over. The platforms have become such an amazing ecosystem because there's just an abundance of life on there. And at one point it was just a structure.
Besides being a short boat ride from the harbor near my house, it's phenomenal. Here you're in the middle of the ocean, next to this giant structure, with a bottom you can't see, and there is more life around it than it seems on any tropical reef around the world.
And for it to be able to, allow all these fish, it's just teeming now with just marine life.
Every square inch of vertical and horizontal space is covered. It's not a dive for beginners, but for a diver looking for an awesome challenge, and for someone working towards a master scuba diver, you can accomplish any number of specialty dives. Underwater naturalist, underwater photographer, well, you could go nuts with that one. Deep diving, all kinds of experiences.
A lot of times people think you have to go to Truck Lagoon. They think you have to fly somewhere or go overseas to Australia or whatnot for wrecks, or like the Teku Maru that we dove in Palau. But we've got a wreck right here that's right off the coast called the Yukon. You can charter boats, or you can go with dive groups that are already assigned to dive there regularly. And it's a great experience,
I have some friends from Las Vegas who dive Lake Mead in Nevada all the time. Some of the narrow canyons, they tell me, are spectacular, with vertical walls and really interesting rock formations. It's a great place for underwater navigation. There's even a couple of cool wrecks.
Well, I have friends who are always on me to come up to Lake Tahoe and dive. They teach the dry suit and altitude specialty course all the time. The shore diving is excellent. You can walk into 100 foot of visibility, hang out with creatures. That's my buddy Eileen getting harassed by a crawfish.
And the diving lifestyle doesn't end with diving. A lot of dive centres throw some great post-dive parties right on the beach where you can hang out with your friends and talk about all the extraordinary things you've seen and how cool it is to become a master scuba diver. So Charles, I guess what we're trying to say here is that no matter where you are, diving is always around the corner and always awesome.
Exactly. Diving is in your backyard and across oceans.
A big part of your dive experience is not only the fabulous marine life, but the company you keep, your dive buddy. So if you have a best friend topside, make them your best friend underwater too, and get PADI certified together.
Blue Corner was, in all my diving experiences, the ultimate highlight of any dive I've ever had.
You can pretty much sit in one spot, do a 360 and see barracuda, white tip sharks, gray reef sharks, turtles, and it just goes on.
You know, I've never experienced anything where there's just such a variety of big fish too in such a space that we could navigate within one dive.
Just an abundance of life. You turn your head one way and you got little turtles swimming through saying, hey, what's up, how you guys doing? Turn your head the other way and you got something else cruising through. It's just pretty unreal.
I think I could dive that Blue Corner like 100 times every day in a row, like over and over and over, and always see something different. It was just amazing.
I love to ride a motorcycle, so next best thing, have a DPV in the water and you're good to go.
You get to see so much more of the ocean, like whether you're on an area of reef or on a wreck, you know, DPV is so manoeuvrable, you can really get around, and honestly, you find out what it feels like to be a fish.
I've had experiences playing with pods of dolphins on DPVs, here cruising the wrecks with my dive buddy.
They're so much fun, and particularly what I really liked about the DPV and the wreck is it's such a usable tool. It's perfect to get a really good look at a wreck, especially that particular shipwreck. It was a pretty large vessel lying on its side. We really had some great time down there.